you come from a great father as well. You know, we never talked about this. Did you know did your father know his father? Did you know your grandfather?
No, my father's grandfather died. My grandfather left the family. My dad was 5 years old. My old man he never knew his dad. He was raised by uncles and aunties, but he vowed he would never do that to his family. Even when him and my mom started having issues, my old man left when I was like 14, but he moved around the corner. Shit. He was at the house every day. He didn't go far. He would no. I know y'all still need me, so I'm gonna get out the house, but you welcome to come stay with me. And I'm gonna be right around the corner. I could be there in 3 minutes, okay? And he would be if need be. But you know, and vice versa. I'd be at his house, and some of the best times I ever had in my life was living with my dad, man. Yeah, we had a bachelor pad, dude. We had a bachelor pad, and we had a great time together. And it was something that it wasn't all fun and games. He put his foot down when he had to, but it was. But again, I was smart enough. I was responsible enough to understand. If you put your foot down, I mean I'm fucking up. I don't want to fuck up. Just like my son, you know, I don't want to have to take that loss. You see what I'm saying? Same thing. I don't want to have to. You have to check me. I'm not gonna do. Give me the rules. He gave me the rules. Don't bring the girls to the house when I'm awake. Don't smoke no weed in my house, and don't do no dumb shit. That was the rules, okay? And as long as I obey by them rules, I'm good, okay? And I could bring him in the house, but I couldn't bring him out. He was awake, okay? I can smoke weed in the backyard, okay? I don't want to see you smoking. I don't want to smell it. I don't want to see you high. When he go to bed, we get fucked up. He slept like a rock, and he had a bad ear, so we slept on his bad ear. On his good ear, he couldn't hear shit. We have a party, that motherfucker. He couldn't hear shit. But that was the beauty of it, though, Doc. I mean, we ate good, my man. We had a good time together, Doc. And you know, it was something I really, even Yella, me and Yella was at an event in Sacramento a few months ago, and he dropped something on me, man, that I didn't even trip on. He alluded that he looked at me as a father figure. He's telling his story about his dad not leaving his mom. And it dawned on me. I knew Dre's dad, but once Dre came to work for me, I never saw him again. Never met Clientele's dad, never met Shakespeare's dad, and I never met Yella's dad. But my dad was around for all of us. He come by the house. We built our first studio. He come by the pad and kick it with us. He come to the club and kick it with us. We go on the road up to Oakland. I got a ton of people up in Oakland. He hop in the car with us. Y'all going to Oakland? Scoot over. I'm rolling with you. Okay. And that was something that I guess maybe all of them kind of missed. But Yella, he kind of, you know, he when he did his testimony, he said he was mad at me. He didn't know why. And we were in Sacramento on stage, and the guy said, maybe because you thought he was more of a father figure or a big brother figure. And he said, yeah, maybe so. And it fucked me up because I never looked at myself like that. I looked at myself as just being one of the fellas. But again, when you 22, or 20 years old, got your own house and cars and stuff, you appear to be a grown ass man. You trying to learn too, shit.
Yeah. Well, I definitely see you as a mentor. I hope you accept that title from me. I definitely learn a lot doing these shows, and I think a lot of other people do, man. You're definitely like a father figure to a lot of people. Isaiah wants to know, Lonzo, Dusty, how many kids y'all got? I have one son, best son, awesome son, 24 years old, just finishing up college, and I couldn't be a happier dad. And a lot of the things that you mentioned earlier is the way that I raised him, and he will not call me for anything, man. He'll figure it out himself first, but the money's here. I'll give it to you, but he wants to figure it out first, which I really respect that. I can't hate on that either, but tell everybody how many kids you have.
I got 5 kids and 5 grandkids.
Woo!
I'm on my second generation, baby. So, you know, and that this is why, as much as I agree with Charleston White, I can't do shit the way he does. Okay? I can't do it the way he does. My Rolodex is full of politicians and police and preachers, and no matter how I feel about certain things, I got to bring a certain kind of Lonzo-esque style to it so that people can respect it. I can't just go off. As much as I want to go off, and like I told I told my podcast instructor when I first started doing this. He asked me, could I do a podcast, be successful, and still maintain my dignity? He told me probably not. Well, that's bullshit. I'll stay with just 13,000 if I'll be a clown for the internet. Fuck that. But I always,
and you know what? Yep.
I'll give what y'all see. This ain't no character. This is the real motherfucker right here. Okay.
This is literally the same Lonzo you're seeing now is the same Lonzo when we're hanging out at a party, when we're hanging out at an event, when he's DJing. This is the guy right here. He ain't no character.
Ain't got no character. Okay. Now I tell you, I got another side though. I got this nigga named Alfonso or Lorenzo. You piss him off, that nigga gonna show up. You fuck with Lonzo, Lorenzo gonna show up. If Lorenzo show up, it's a whole different. It's a whole different. Okay, what happened to Lonzo? No. Lonzo gone. You pissed him off. You hurt his feelings. You did something to him. Now Lorenzo got to take over.
That's funny, and that's ironic because I've heard several interviewers call you Lorenzo and not Alonzo. Lorenzo is actually MC Ren's name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is funny that you have your character. Don't let Lorenzo come out.
Don't let Lorenzo come out. That's nice. Okay.
Man, well, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Let's keep it going. Before we do, we have 45 people in the building. Please hit that like button. And if you are new to the show, hit that subscribe button if you like what you hear. You know, earlier you mentioned something, and it was kind of like you were reading my mind because I was listening to a old Roger Clayton interview, who I know you have a long, deep history with. And Roger Clayton said in the interview that by 1988, he stopped throwing his giant electro soirees with Uncle Jam's Army because it was, quote, just too dangerous with all the gangsters. He said, and I quote, 99% of kids are good, but just one kid with a gun can ruin everything, end quote. Is that how you remember it? Is that kind of your story too?
Man, that's kind of my story as well, Doc. I never did the big events. All my events, I did hotels. I did Alpine Village, Queen Mary. And even back then, I was doing the Queen Mary in Long Beach because we were bringing people from the club to Long Beach, and they would bring their people. I never had the same problems Uncle Jam's Army did. I'm not gonna sit and tell you the Eve After Dark was perfect, and by no means it wasn't. But when we did our big dances, it was the Eve would be open, but it'd be empty. If you had the money or the transportation, you could roll to the event and stick around for the Eve for the after party. We never attracted we didn't have any real gangs that followed the Wrecking Crew. The Eve After Dark kind of filtered out the gangs. Of course we were right there in Piru, Anthony's Park, Miller Gangsters, the Village. But because we were there every weekend, even Crips from Watts would come there. They just come low key, okay. And if they decide to go to Long Beach, they just stayed low key. You know, again, we're talking about 85, 86. Gang banging was around, but it hadn't taken the major effect that it had on the community by 80, 87, 88. Okay. You know, we still dress. I mean, back then, even the gangsters dressed up. Okay. Gangsters wore suits. Your street hustlers wore dress shoes and slacks, nylon shirts, whatever the case may be. When they sold dope, they looked like they was going to the club. That's how, dude, I got pictures of my boys from my neighborhood. They look like some real Italian gangsters. That's how they dressed back then. That's how they came to Eve After Dark. And I'm not gonna say that's the only reason why, but I think that's why there was such a disconnect between that generation and the new generation with the new niggas, where the new niggas, all they wear is tennis shoes. My guys only wore tennis shoes when they played basketball or football. They didn't wear tennis shoes. I mean, it was a sign of being broke to be in the tennis shoes on a regular basis.
That New Jack City scene. That New Jack City scene.
Exactly. I come from the New Jack City era where everybody dressed, man. You know, you had your Kango on backwards. You had your two-piece suit and your slacks, And that's what it was. And later on, when it became The Wire, shit got crazy. You could leave the block and go to a club dressed, and I ain't got to go home and change clothes. You could leave the corner, go to the club, and not have to change clothes. Nobody ever really wanted to look like they were selling dope back then. Nobody wanted to look like they was gangbanging. It was a different era. It was a different vibe. It was a different concept. Okay, different mentality. And if they saw you doing something, you know, you had your haters, but it wasn't the same thing as it is right now, man. And the police still jacked them, but you know, they were a lot smarter back then.